All right, everybody, welcome to the Service MVP podcast. And my name is Joe Crisera, America's service sales coach. And today we have a very exciting guest. His name is Justin Giles, and he is with Choate Air Heat and Plumbing, air conditioning, heating, and plumbing.
That's
He's in
great.
Memphis, Tennessee. He has a unique story. He is not in Memphis, although he definitely helps to assist the company to operate. Justin, welcome to the program. I definitely appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, and definitely every time I spend with you is precious time. So I'm happy you're giving me this gift of something we can never get back, which is our time. But definitely, I got a feeling it's going to be time well spent. Justin, why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about I know that Choate's is a company in Memphis, Tennessee. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the position that you're in, and just what do you want people to know about your involvement and Choate's in general. What do you think? Give us a little snapshot about Choate's and also about you.
Absolutely. Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on the show, Joe. It's a true pleasure. Choate's was started in 1958. It's a family owned and operated company. At this time, we're probably one of the two biggest air conditioning and plumbing companies in the Memphis area. We have about 150 employees, and we are growing at an exponential rate. And we are doing the best we can to provide the best customer service to the community. I came to Choate's about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, from private practice of law. I used to be Choate's outside counsel, developed a relationship with Saul Choate and Brian Choate, who are the sons of Chris Choate, the current owner, and his father, Joe Choate, started the company back in 1958. So they twisted my arm, talked me into coming over, and we haven't looked back. It's been a great ride, and every day I am thankful to be at the company.
Well, that's really great. We give up the practice of law in the state in the United States of America to get the law of service, which definitely I think you got a higher calling with this law for sure. I would say.
I'm going to tell you, I did not know what to expect when I made the switch, but after making the move and listening to all my law friends tell me I'm crazy to get into the service industry and leave the private practice, I feel so rewarded every day with what we're doing in the community, getting to know the people that I work with and really seeing the fruits of our labor. We work incredibly hard and we're constantly striving to improve. And I'm just excited to go to work every day. And that is a true blessing.
It really is. When you make your job something that's fun to do, then it's never not. It's like don't tell anybody, but you would do it anyway even if we didn't get paid. That's the same with me too. I feel and guess what? Choates and Uncle Joe, we share the same year of a birthday. I was born in 1958 too. Isn't it crazy?
That's
Uh,
fantastic.
so we were both probably you're probably considered the best in Memphis, and I'm considered the best for service and sales training. And definitely, it's a great. It was like a marriage made in heaven. When I first heard what you guys were doing, what Chris put together here, and what his team and his family and you helped taking this lead on the project, I definitely was. I felt like I met brothers from another mother the day I met you guys. So it was the easiest thing I ever did was fall in love with Choates. I tell you that. So
We appreciate it.
exactly. So we're on the same page. We're here to help the people of your community get the best world-class service they can get. Uh, and that being said, you have a unique. So that's why I called you on this podcast, because we're not talking about some lifer who's been in HVAC forever or plumbing forever. We got somebody from the outside. So this is a unique. Everybody listening to this is a unique podcast because we're going to listen to somebody who's moving in from the outside to see some of the things that were unexpectedly pleasantly unexpected when he joined the company and he became one of the executives that helps run this organization. Justin, why don't you start by, I guess the question is going to be the overall theme of this podcast will be, I want to hear three things that you've observed that are not obvious, three things that are not obvious that the people who are maybe in the trades, but maybe from the outside looking in, it's obvious to you. What are three things that you've seen that are key to the success of Choates and really other companies too that are around the country who do great service? What are three keys that are not obvious that you see as an outsider who's now become an insider that you think is key to the success of a world-class service company like Choates?
Well, I think first things first, and I don't know if this is obvious or not, but it is critical in this business to love what you do. I see a lot of people who are in the business just to make money, which is why we all go to work, obviously. But to run a successful service company, you truly have to care. When I started at Choates, I would have told you nobody's going to outwork me. Um, I, I felt pretty confident in my skills and my work ethic. And then I started at Choates and I saw Chris, his wife Cindy, Brian, saw how much they care about the business and the people in the community. They go above and beyond in what they do to make people comfortable. And I didn't understand that coming from the private practice of law, how hard it is to make a business work. And so the first thing I would say is you've got to love what you do. It's got to be a challenge and not a chore.
Mm.
If it's a chore, you're going to get burnout. You're going to sacrifice excellence in service, and you're not going to be able to provide the level of compassion that is really needed in this business. You're dealing with people who, for us in the business, and I consider myself in the business now, it is a business. We've got employees, we've got bottom lines, we've got all the stuff that's tied up in business. But when you're dealing with customers, they're typically in a crisis situation. They're panicking. They don't know what it's going to cost. They don't have a HVAC budget set aside. And so it is our job in this profession to come in, calm the nerves, explain to them the process, hold their hand, and be that rock that they need in those situations. And it starts with loving what you do.
Yeah, and I think it's like loving what you do is because you love your customers too. It's like I look at it like this: if you either go to serve your customer, either on picking up that phone or going to their house or going to their business, whatever it is that you're doing. Either you got a feeling that the lights have come on inside of you, and you kind of light up. I feel like you kind of see the feeling and the tone you get. Like I'm kind of like wait, like when I go on a service call, I talk to people like, when I talked to you, just I talked to you, I was like, this is like a pleasure to work with these people. And I had your company on the line. I developed a love for the company because I'm
Right.
like, didn't know you before I walked into it, but I could feel it was all heart, and I felt like everybody was committed. Everybody texted me saying they're excited about the program. I could feel the enthusiasm, and then they've taken the lead by actually using the training we have in the e-learning and things like that. And that's
Right.
either the lights come on or you feel like this job sucks, right? And so if you
Right.
get that feeling like this job sucks, you probably shouldn't get out. Go be an attorney or something.
Right. You've got to do something
You
else.
know?
You've got to be fully committed to the work you do in this profession. And our motto at Choates is let our family serve your family.
Mm,
And so we have a do unto others mentality.
hmm
And we walk into every home and we look at that customer like that's our mom, our aunt, our uncle. And we're going to make sure we can do everything we can to make their life better.
That's the feeling I got when I told everybody I was Uncle Joe to your team. They took it literally. They felt seriously. I felt like I was literally their uncle, and that's what I still get texts from people telling me some of the victories and some of the aha moments they're getting, and I do feel that from your team, and definitely that's why I wanted to have you on here, because we share that same philosophy. I always say, when I'm with your family, in a way, my family right now is second place because I'm putting all my effort into your family, and my focus is on your family. Of course, when I get back to my family, that's the most important thing in my entire life there. But I think to do great service, you have to dive into it. And if you're going to be an Olympic swimmer, you got to be loving swimming. You're going to be a baseball player. You got to love the game of baseball. If you got to, either you get on the field and you light up when you see the green grass, or you're like, oh, not another day of having to run,
Well,
kind
and
of a thing, right? It's like that.
to to use the baseball analogy, every great baseball player, there are thousands of hours that they've spent in the cage with no bright lights, hitting off of a tee. And it should be no different in our business. For every great service call we run, there are hours and hours of preparation that go into making that service call great, whether it's participating with you and learning from you and implementing that system, to setting your price book. There are hours and hours that go into making the final product great, and you've got to enjoy that grind, to enjoy the payoff.
I agree. Is that your number two, or is that because that sounds like you're moving right into number two, which is you got to prepare? I'm just throwing it out there, but what do you
Well,
think? What's number two for you? What do you think?
well, I will tell you, prior preparation prevents poor performance. We live by that. But number two for me is you have to define what success is to you.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
the standard definition of success is accomplishing a goal. And so at Choates, what we've done is we have set a vision and we have a plan. We're not just showing up every day, going through the motions. We have a long-term, we call it a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Hmm.
And then we set SMART goals along the way: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound.
Mm.
And we're constantly working towards that vision and goal. And so you have to define success, because what's success to you may be a healthy bottom line, and what success is to me may be providing the best customer service or supporting our community. So until you know where you want to go, until you have that roadmap and that final destination point, you can't be successful. You can't measure yourself along the way to celebrate the wins and identify the setbacks that you need to correct to get better the next day. So
Well,
I would
that's
say
that's
defining success, setting a
that is
vision.
that is really a great. I think I completely agree with that. Let me ask you a critical question. Since you
Sure.
are running a larger company with Choates, it's not a small enterprise, and you're impacting thousands of clients' lives in the city of in the surrounding area and cities of Memphis, Tennessee. The question I would have, and this is maybe you can just give a small. You don't got to go. I know probably could take 8 hours on this question,
Oh,
but
we
just
could do this for days.
give me a thumbnail here if you can. Uh, how do you get the team like to be like? I know everybody could have a different goal. Like some people's goal is get home at 4 o'clock and get home early or whatever, right? Especially younger people today, their goal is mainly personal time off. Might be there, right? How do you align those type of things and herd all those kittens to make sure that there's a unified goal that the team agrees on? Can you tell me a little bit more? Just a thumbnail on
Sure.
that. You don't got to go too far into, but that's the thing. I'm interested in that. If you don't mind sharing that with me.
Well, that's the hardest part, right?
Hmm.
And it actually dovetails into what my third key, for success really is, and that is you have to build a team and an infrastructure that has alignment, alignment of purpose. You've all got to be rowing in the same direction. And the way to do that, in my opinion, is you have to be transparent. You
Mm.
have to be honest. You have to let your team know this is our goal. These are our values. We have core values at Choates. We call
Hmm.
them the dishes. teamwork, hospitality, education, dependability, integrity, service, honesty, excellence, and safety.
Hmm.
Those are the line in the sand that you can't cross. You can't mislead a customer. You have to show up when you say you're going to show up. And we let our team know. We literally have it painted on the walls
Hmm.
what our mission is, what our values are. We've established that culture, and you've got to get the right people on the bus in the right seats. And it's tough and it's hard. And we work at it every day. And by being transparent, by showing them the numbers, by setting goals, by outlining the path we want to take, it's easy for us to identify those people who are not aligned with that.
Hmm.
And
It is. That's the heartbreaking part. There are people. I think there's people we want more for than they want for themselves. Does that ever ring a
absolutely,
bell there?
I do a lot of the mindset training, and it's amazing to me how many people that we deal with on the daily love it and want to learn more, and they're eager and they're thirsty for knowledge. And then there's some people that say, you know what, that's not what I want to do. And that's okay. You know, you don't have to see things the way that we see them. But if you don't, you probably need to work somewhere else. And so
Right.
we set those expectations early. We don't hide the ball from anybody. And we have found that people love having a sense of purpose. It's not
Yeah.
just showing up to work every day. We have a collective goal.
Yeah, and it kind of makes a larger company seem smaller, right? That
Absolutely.
the fact that we have this common values, we all know that the person who's on our team, it wouldn't be we you know, and here's what I look at too. If find somebody who doesn't share the values, the same exact values, there's things that are or stop or what do you call it, they're stopping points for them where they say, "Oh, listen, I just can't commit to that." In
Right.
a way, it's like you know what, it's our pleasure to help. And even myself, I would say, let me even help you find another job somewhere because there's plenty of people who need people like you, but just not just to here when you work here, it's got to be special and unique. It's got to be your dream job. If you're not, this isn't a dream job for you anymore. We wouldn't want to put the burden on you. And I think that's one of the things that's a mature way of looking at it to say that
Absolutely.
we're not for everybody, right? I mean, how important is it that
Absolutely.
Choates does exclusive service that when people are allowed to be in the family, that they're exclusive people too that are going to believe in the same thing. How important is that?
It's super important. And we, like I said, we let people know on the front end who we are. And for us, you know, ultimately the customer's happiness dictates our success from a profitability standpoint. And we tell our employees when they first come on to Choates that if you're not happy, ultimately the customer's not going to be happy. And so, one of the things that we do really well, and I think is very important to being successful, is we have open communication lines. We do what we call employee check ins. Um, they're basically weekly because we've broken everybody down into smaller teams. But we check in, and everybody at the company has a voice. We don't take pride in authorship. If you have a great idea, we're going to run with it. It takes a village, right?
Hmm.
And just because my name's up here and I have this title doesn't mean everything that I think and do is correct. And so we are leaning on our people constantly for fresh new ideas, critiques of us. Tell us what we're doing right and wrong. We welcome it. And you have to have that open environment. You have to do it
Hmm.
respectfully. There's a time and a place.
Hmm.
But we welcome that feedback because you can't build a team if your entire team doesn't feel like they're a part of it.
Well,
So,
I think that companies that are successful, like Choates, air conditioning, heating, and plumbing, definitely are successful because the way they just like firemen, instead of running away from the fire or the conflict, you run toward it and find and seek the conflict, so that because then it's easy to do that when you know how to manage conflict, which definitely, Justin, it sounds like Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is definitely good at that. And I definitely think that the clients of Memphis are fortunate to have somebody like you who makes an effort. And unfortunately, can you believe how fast the time just goes by?
Are we done?
They always say that a great meeting starts on time, which it did, and then our meeting got to end on time, which is going a little bit over right now, believe it or not. But I don't want to cut you off because I really had you got to make a promise before you leave here, though, today. Can you promise to come back with me and share more?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love sharing what we do at Choates, and I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me, Joe. And anytime you need me, give me a call. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And how would people? Would you? I'm not gonna. I could cut this out if you want me to say it. But if you wanted people to call Choates and just kind of see what that culture is like, would that be something you'd be open to having people visit and say a little tour? What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. We hire across the country, actually.
Mm.
We bring people in from all over. We want to share our model with other businesses. So any owners that want to see what we do, see our facility, it's first class. We welcome them in, and I'll give you my personal cell phone number. They can call me anytime and I'll facilitate it. It's 901-734 8811.
Great. Well, Justin, that's a generous offer. We didn't even clear that before I brought it up, so we don't have
Uh,
to cut it out. That's really great.
Absolutely. No,
Thank you.
we
Go
want
ahead.
everybody to prosper and grow. And, that is a key to success. Just to end real quick,
Mhm.
don't think you know it all. I've got hundreds of books, literally hundreds of books. You can always learn from others, and you should never stop learning.
Well, thank you. End it on that note. Thank you, Justin, and thanks
Thanks, Joe.
everybody for listening. We will catch everybody here in the next episode. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Take care, Joe.